Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We will continue where we left off. I tried doing, I tried being live and doing lesson two. It's not working out. I don't like it. I feel more comfortable recording and posting rather than just doing the same thing while I'm recording, while people are watching me and asking me questions at the same time. And don't get me wrong, not a lot of people join, so I just don't like it. So, and I know some of you guys at work, at school, like are busy with all your things. You'd rather just watch this at your own time. So, yeah, let's proceed with lesson two. Week for lesson two, we'll be adding variables.
A variable is a little space in the computer's memory where you store data. Now, often you have to store data under a special name, and whenever you require that name, you simply call it by that name. For example, if you want to store a value like pi, or a person's name or surname or ID number, you typically store that into a variable. And then whenever you need to retrieve that value, you'll call that variable. Now, JavaScript allows you to create variables. You can create variables of different types. Two of the most basic types of variables are text and number variables. You create a variable in JavaScript by using the keyword var, V-A-R. Now let's create some variables.
Let's go.
To create a variable, again, you type var, and then you put in the name of the variable, the name that you're going to use to reference that variable. Let's call it
text1.
Text1. And then you put a semicolon. Now what this line means is that you've just declared a variable in the computer's memory, and that variable is currently empty. You haven't actually added any value to it. You've called that variable text1. Let's make another one. Text2, semicolon. Now we have two empty variables named text1 and text2 in the computer's memory. Now how do we assign values to these variables? Very simple. Let's say we want to assign a value to text1. We use the equals to sign, and we say text1 is equal to hello everyone. Now again, because this is text, you need to put it in double quotes. Now let's assign a value to text2. Again, text2 is equal to there we go. So now we have declared two variables, text1 and text2. And not only that, but we've assigned values to them also. So whenever you call text1, the computer is going to give you back hello everyone. And whenever you call text2, the computer is going to return I love learning JS. Now how do we test this? How do we test what's exactly stored in these variables? And more importantly, how do we actually use variables? Very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to use the same two lines of text output that we used earlier on, one for the heading and one for the paragraph. Now you remember where we put the output text. In the heading, it said this is JavaScript. So what we're going to do now is we're going to delete the entire output text, including the double quotes, and we're just going to leave the brackets. And in place of that, we're going to just put in the name of the variable. So what are we saying here? We're saying document.getElement by ID. That means find the element with the ID heading 1 and set its inner HTML value to text1. In other words, set it to whatever is stored inside text1. Now let's see how this works out. Save it and refresh the browser and see what we get. It changes to hello everyone. Now where's this value coming from? The value is coming from text1. Whatever is the value inside text1, that's the value that will be set for this heading. Let's change it. Let's change it to hello everyone on planet Earth. Save it and refresh. See what happens? Whenever the variable changes, the value changes. The output changes. Now let's do the same thing for the paragraph. We'll add the value text2. Save and refresh the browser. See what you've got? The value of text2. Now you need to remember when you're referencing variables to not put the double quotes. Because if you do put the double quotes, then JavaScript will simply not recognize the value as the name of a variable. It'll recognize it as ordinary text. Let's see what that means. So let's say I mistakenly put double quotes there. See what JavaScript does now. Save this and refresh in the browser. It changed the value to text1. That means JavaScript put the literal value that's inside the double quotes into the heading output, which is not what we want. So we need to remember that variable names are never included inside double quotes. Okay, now let's have a little bit of fun. Let's create a third variable. We'll call this one text3. And just below text2, we'll assign a value to it. We'll say JS is awesome.
Increasing JS too.
All right, really showing a lot of love to JavaScript here. Okay, so what happens next? The next thing we need to do is to output this. Let's output it into the paragraph. Now, how do we do this? Remember in the previous lesson, we spoke about text concatenation, joining two text strings together. Well, we're going to use the exact same thing here. We're going to use the plus sign. So we're going to say inner HTML is equal to text2 plus text3. Now let's see what's going to happen here. Save this and refresh the browser. See what you get? I love learning JS. JS is awesome. Now what happened here? You'll notice that there's no space between the first JS and the second JS. There's no space, in other words, between the JS of the first sentence and the JS of the second sentence. We can fix this easily. We can do this by simply adding a space inside the double quotes where we are assigning the value to text3. All right, save this, refresh the browser.
That's it for this lesson. You see, for us not to confuse people, there is no space between JS and this JS. I know this will confuse a lot of people. Let me just take my time to explain this. We are going to come here in front. You see text3 equal, and then inside the quotation marks, we're gonna put our cursor there, and then we're gonna put space. We're gonna add a space there, and then we're going to save, and then we will go to our browser and refresh, and then now we have a space. We got the space because we went back to text3 at the beginning of the sentence, and then we added a space, because if you add an a plus, it's not gonna automatically give us a space. That's it for lesson 2. I will record lesson 3 shortly after this one. Please like and subscribe, guys.